Drummers I Like podcast, episode number 37. All right, everybody, I'm excited to announce that today's podcast is brought to you by audible.com. That's right, you can get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/drummers I Like podcast. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can stream it on your iPhone, you can stream it on an Android phone, Kindle, your computer, pretty much anything that can access the internet, you can listen to. And it's actually a really awesome marriage for us because, you know, we have our section where we do our rapid singles every show, and our amazing guests are just awesome enough to provide us with, you know, their choice picks for books. And I could say 99% of the titles that have been mentioned are available in the Audible store. There's titles like Travis Barker's Can I Say? There's Music Theory by Nicholas Carter. Wonderful Older Percussion by Emil Richards. That is like one of my favorite books. It's a really good story. And there's a couple other different books that I personally recommend, like Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or Brian Tracy's The Universal Laws of Success. Amazing books. Anyways, if you sign up with our link, you're going to get a 30-day free trial with any of those audiobooks of your choice, just one. And I got to be honest, my first step into the audiobook world was with Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, and it was heaven because I actually bought the hard copy version, and it was not working out for me. I had it for 6 months. I tried reading it, and I don't know if it's ADD, ADHD, ADFH7, HLLD. I don't know what it is, but I just can't pay attention. You know, I lose my train of thought easily when it comes to reading books. So audiobooks are kind of like heaven for me. And if you listen to podcasts like I do, then it's pretty much the same thing, but you're learning. And you're learning on your own terms. And that's the beauty of audiobooks, podcasts, this whole realm of listening that we've been so blessed to have. So if you want to enjoy that free audiobook and that free 30-day trial, I'm telling you, it's real easy. It's audibletrial.com/Drummers I Like podcast. All right, guys, let's get it started. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. I am super excited for today's guest. His name is Omari Augustine. Omari plays for Serenity Drums, ProMark Drumsticks, Evans Drumheads, True Tuner, Lowboy Beaters, Drumtacs, Diodario, Drumlight, and Drummer Clothing Company. Omari is a drum teacher. He is a master of education, and he teaches at 2 schools locally in the Angelic Sounds Music Center and the Curtis Jordan's Coaching Institute. I'm super excited to have Omari on the show today, and I just can't wait to get to know you. How you doing today, Omari?
I am absolutely great. It's really a pleasure being on here. It's something that I have looked forward to for a long time, and it's just a real honor to be on this podcast.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, we appreciate that.
Definitely so. Definitely so. It's exciting. I was telling you before we started the show, I've been looking forward to the show for weeks too. So, as we do in every Drummers I Like episode, Omari, I got to get to know you on a deep level. I want to learn about how you found music, how you found drums, what led you on your journey, and you know how you found yourself where you are today. And please spare no details because everyone wants to know.
Well, my drumming journey began at a very, very young age. My dad actually plays the drums, and from as early as I can remember, which is like around the age of 3 years old, he would have me on his lap while he was playing and practicing and having bands over and stuff like that. So I was always around him while he was doing what he did. And that is where my passion for the instrument started. And it was because of him. I mean, he was a real big role model to me, and seeing him play the drums all the time, and the instrument just kind of grew on me. There was no way that I could get away from the drum set.
Very cool.
Very cool. Very cool. So
that's usually how it starts. That's how you get that passion when you're young. You can't turn it off.
It's impossible.
That's right. I think we can all relate to that a little bit. I think all of us have that in our blood, you know, have those young days of messing with pots and pans, you know.
Yep, the Folgers coffee cans. Folgers coffee cans and the sticks, the suit hangers. That's it.
Anything you could find.
That's right.
That's it.
Right.
So kind of going from there, you clearly have grown up in a music-filled environment. Where did it really start? You sat on your dad's lap, he showed you a lot of stuff, but if you can really pinpoint, when you really started getting into your learning, getting into sitting down on that drum kit and kind of figuring out that, this is what you really want to do.
Yeah, well, my dad didn't really teach me how to play the drums. Strange enough, he always said that he wanted me to find my own path. So he would have me around, but he didn't really teach me. So I kind of learned from watching. Mm-hmm. And at the age of 14, I decided to join a steel orchestra. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have an instrument called the steel pan, or some people call it the steel drums. Sure. It's kind of where the hang drum came from, for those of you who know the hang drum. So it kind of gives a similar sound. And it's the only instrument that was created in the 21st century.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. So I decided to join the church band. They had a steel orchestra, and I actually went to learn to play the steel pan. But because they knew who my dad was, they decided to throw me on the drum set. They were like, "No, you have to play the drum."
You were guilty by association. They said, "No, it's in your blood. You got to come over here."
So I basically had no choice. There was no choice in it. So at that age, I had the opportunity to travel and go on tour. We went to Barbados. We started in the Caribbean. So we went to islands like Barbados, and then we went to Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And I actually visited a few states in the U.S., Indiana, New York, New Jersey, Ohio. And at that young age, I was kind of fortunate enough to experience all of that, which most people usually don't get to do at the age of 14, 15.
Sure.
So,
and just to stop you there, I just want to kind of unpack something a little bit here. When you're talking about, playing in this band that you're touring with now, how would you classify the style of music? Like, what would you really call it, or to break it down?
Well, in the Caribbean, there are basically two main genres of music. The most popular being reggae music. From Jamaica, where Bob Marley made it really popular.
Sure.
Soca is the indigenous music of Trinidad and Tobago. It was created by a guy called Ras Shorty I. He started mixing different styles of music and came up with the whole soca and calypso, groove and genre of music, and it became really popular in the Caribbean. So those are the two main genres of music you'll find anywhere in the Caribbean that anyone will really enjoy. So that's where my unique style kind of comes into play, and I tend to add a little bit of it in everything else that I play, because Trinidad is where I'm from, and I try to kind of express that in whatever I do.
Definitely. And just to take it a step further, even more so for listeners and for ourselves, because I'm sure we'd like to delve into it as well. But if somebody wanted to listen to some good calypso, what should they listen to or pick up and check out, that maybe if they wanted to kind of check out the genre?
What book?
Or no, like what type of listening? Like if you could get a CD or something to listen to, or download some music, what artists would you say would be the best to look up?
Definitely check out Ras Shorty I, RASSHORTY I, letter I.
Yep.
Well, he was basically the beginning of it all. So if you really want to go really deep into it, starting from the beginning, I would suggest that's where it's at. There's a lot of, I'm basically a Christian, so you can actually check out Sean Daniel. Sean Daniel is a really popular soca calypsonian in the gospel circles, and he's really popular.
That's it.
Yeah, and he is one of my favorites as well. You can check out guys like Nigel Lopez, really young guy, but he is an awesome singer, a composer, producer, His music is really cool. I do a lot of work with him. I was actually in a band with him maybe in 2010. We had a band called Submit, and he was the lead singer, and I was the drummer and music director. So you can actually check out some of that music by Nigel Lopez. Yeah, and that's a really great place to start. And from there, you'll automatically find a lot of other people who would have worked with them as well.
Sure. In some kind of way, I won't say with all genres of music, but a lot of your deeply rooted like bloodline type of rhythmic drumming, there's always some kind of link to the church involved, because you don't get the soul without that. I'm telling you, it's something about if there's some gospel in it, that's if you notice, that's where all the soul like comes from. You can emulate it, you can kind of pick it up here and there, but usually down to the lines, you guys are gonna start hearing that a lot, Rich and Charlie. When it comes to a lot of these drummers with a lot of deep, like heartfelt drumming or soul, as it were.
Yeah.
9 out of 10, you're gonna hear something about church.
Yep, I agree. It's because usually with church drummers in particular, a lot of their emotion goes into what they do. Being that they are in church, they get to express themselves in that kind of deep way, and it's usually a lot meditational. It's really meditational. So deep down feelings usually come out. And I always say, if you're doing something, put your all into it, whether it's practice, whether it's a free gig, a paid gig, a concert for 5 people, a concert for thousands of people. Give it your all and go all out.
It's a good one to live by.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
Absolutely.
I agree. So
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, Chris. Rich. I'm really curious. I was looking at your Instagram page, and I noticed you had this. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we consider ambidextrous or whatever, or kind of like acrobatic, as it were. I pride myself in being able to play fluently, both with the set up left-handed and with the set up right-handed.
Yeah.
But I go on your page, and I see you with your turn to the drums, and you playing completely with both hands behind your back, like fluently. I'm like, okay, this is impressive. Like, I want to jump to that. How do we get there?
Well, actually, that was just a crazy idea. Well, one of the many crazy ideas that just came to me. I was trying to push the limits of my independence, and one of my students, Naomi, sometimes we'll be talking and we'll just come up with random ideas, and she'll be like, "So you ever tried this?" And it's something I thought about before, but I never really took up the challenge, and I decided to do it just to show her that nothing is impossible. If you can pick it up once you work hard enough, you can do it. And I decided to give it a try. And really and truly, if you really watch it closely, it's actually like playing left-handed.
I could actually see that, actually. Looking at it visually, it's kind of like, okay, I was contorting myself trying to like.
How do you get there? How do you get back there?
I was tangled up, but after I was like, okay, that's what it feels like. Okay.
Yeah.
So
the hardest part of it was trying to figure out how to play the bass drum. So what I did, I kept the hi-hats closed, and I used my right foot in front of me to kind of keep balance. And then I use the ball of my left foot to play the bass drum. So that's why if you check the video on YouTube, you'll actually see a small window of the foot.
yeah, I did see that.
It's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but once you get used to it, it's pretty easy.
Hey, he's talking about muscle memory. That's another world right there, bro. I get hats off to you for that one.
and what I love about it too is it came into a lesson too. You know what I mean? It was an outlandish challenge from a student, and it ultimately turned into a lesson because, as you said, it was to teach her that nothing is impossible, and there it is. There's video proof of it. So,
well, I usually tell people that I learn from everybody, even my students. Sometimes the little ones, I have students from 3 years old and up, and sometimes they play stuff that they don't know what they're playing, but because I understand what they did, I now can take it and work on it, refine it, and then turn it into something that looks cool and sounds really cool. And then I give it back to them and show them, hey, I got this from what you played last week, and this is what it can sound like when you work and practice. So it's always a learning experience, even being a teacher.
That's great. That's great. It still takes a special person to be a teacher, but seems like you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you very much.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So you jumped into the ambidextrous playing, really into this side of things. Jamie was right. I did really want to get into that, and now that we've gotten past that, now we can start talking about a little bit of the creativity you put into your drum sets, your cymbals, this kind of artistic approach that really makes you stand out from the rest.
Yeah. I tend to focus especially on the hi-hats a lot. I think that a lot of people, they do stuff on the hi-hats, but they don't experiment with it as much as it should. A lot of people focus a lot of attention on the snare and the toms, and sometimes even cymbals, and we tend to stick to some basic patterns on the hi-hat. So what I try to do, my dad always said that less is more. So I left a lot of open spaces in my drumming, and then I used those spaces to fill up with hi-hat patterns. And because I work a lot on my left foot especially, I started working on stuff like foot splashes and even playing regular patterns with my foot. So that way it left a lot of room for me to do other stuff in between. So my hi-hat style started to develop a lot more than my playing, I would say, in a bit. But I really tend to focus on adding weird phrases on the hi-hats especially. And I guess part of it comes from the culture of the music here in Trinidad and Tobago. We usually start certain things on the odd note, like on the E's and the R's. And because that's our culture, it kind of went across to my style of playing and my application of it to the hi-hats. So I think that's where a lot of people usually find it unique, and it's a bit strange, but yet people tend to be able to follow along with what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's great.
Very, very awesome. I'm actually really curious into your painted hi-hats and kind of how you got that idea, what made you do it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a couple pair to send you. Yeah, because I got to get that done on mine. That's crazy.
I can get that done for you. Actually, the art on the hi-hats in particular was done by my sister. She does art. She's actually doing it now professionally. Well, as she's actually studying it in school. She's doing her degree in art. And I actually visited her today to talk about what we will be working on in the future. I was going to post some pictures of it, but she did a few sticks for me, which I'll be posting in the future. I'll most likely send for you guys to check out. But she was the one who actually designed that symbol for me, and I wanted her
and
to.
The crazy part of it, not to cut you off, the crazy part is that they don't sound coded. They still sound like hi-hats. Like, how did you pull that up?
Well, so I used, for those hi-hats, they were ZBTs. The one below actually is a ZBT, and on top is an old A custom. And
I was about to say she made them ZBTs sound like A custom. She made them sound right, because that paint might have made them sound better.
Actually, yeah, because the funny thing is, the symbol that she painted, if you play it by itself, it sounds really dark and dull. So what I did, I used the bottom hat as one that's really bright. So when you mix it, it sounds like really cool. It has a big sound. So it's a bright bottom hi-hat and a dark top hi-hat.
Dope.
Nice.
I got a couple pair of 15s that tell your sister I said we'll be getting with you in a little bit.
She would love that. And actually I recently had a snare giveaway, and she did the artwork on the snare giveaway. That was so
excellent.
Yeah.
I saw the snare giveaway there, but I didn't realize. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Now some of the artwork on the heads on your heads as well that I've seen.
Oh yeah, the artwork on the drum heads are by Lola Blue. Um, I know you guys might know who she is. She does a lot of work. She did a few projects with Promark. She actually did the design on Questlove's kit.
Oh,
His
okay.
Yeah, you probably would have known Questlove's kit from the show that he plays on. Yeah, so she did design that kit, and she does some really cool artwork. Her style is amazing. I've been
Yeah.
following her for a while. And when the kit was on its way to Trinidad, the Serenity kit was on its way to Trinidad, they met up with Lola. And because I knew her from before, she actually did the artwork on the heads for me. Really, really amazing work, I must say.
Very
And
cool.
I really love her style. It's really different, and you know it's Lola when you see it.
Very cool. And it caught my eye. I definitely had to ask about it.
Very cool. Yeah, she did her thing.
So kind of getting back into your playing, you had some really you've got if we go down your YouTube channel, we go down your Instagram channel, I'm just kind of blown away by the amount of effort you put into all these different things as far as being creative, just getting into the art of drums, not so much like here's a video of me playing a cover, here's a video of me playing. No, here's a video of me creating a lot of different things. And something that I think has stood out to the whole team over here at Drummers I Like are some of these YouTube videos you put out that, you have this amazing giant green screen background and you have, different characters dancing around you. I kind of want to break that down a little bit and kind of hear about your experiences and how you got into that situation and the outcome.
Well, I had this crazy idea. That video, the characters dancing, was actually a remix video of Major Laser's "Light It Up" that was done
That was the
by
Major Lazer. Yep.
art studio, and I really loved the song. I really loved the animation and stuff in it. So the same concept that I have of when I play to music, I like to be really into the music. I actually wanted to put myself into the video. So a day I posted on Facebook, I had a crazy idea that I would actually try to do it myself. I
think we're losing you.
On Facebook, anyone, if they had a green room that I could use, rent. And a friend of mine had a friend who owns a green room, and he was like, "Hey, I know who you are. Let's make it happen." So he called me up, and we did for the video. I edited myself into the video, and everyone loved it. Surprised at how good it came. It was really, so far, I think that was one of the most fun covers that I have ever done. And it was a challenge for me. Actually challenged my video editing skills as well as my drumming skills as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, they are a blast to watch. And sorry, I totally mentioned it wrong. It was I knew it was the Major Lazer cover, but they're just a lot of fun to watch, and the amount of detail that went into it, it just shows how passionate you are about the things that you do.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I try to do everything to the best. So if I can make it better, I would spend the extra time. I would make the extra effort to make sure that it comes out the way that I see it in my mind.
Sure. It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear that you have such a strong work ethic. I think that's what it takes these days, and it's really working for you. What I'm curious though is, you've got a pretty giant YouTube channel, and your Instagram page has grown daily since I've found you. Like astoundingly, the numbers are wild. I'm curious, what's your approach to your social media, and how do you stay conscious of kind of keeping up with postings and keeping up with your fans, followers, and people that you've networked with?
Well, I think something as simple as being consistent. I usually try to post something every day, even if it's just a simple image that I had from a long time ago. People used to have like a bunch of throwback stuff. And because I teach as well, I teach mostly on Mondays, Tuesdays, on Sundays. I usually like record little clips of my students. Sometimes my students take clips of me playing, and I actually use that. Sometimes I go back through my phone and I realize I have a whole bunch of stuff that I need to clear to make space on my phone. So what I usually do is before I delete it or get rid of it, I post little clips of it on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and stuff like that. So sometimes some simple practice sessions that I have with friends that will come over. When we have a little you know, to go through, I hit record and just whatever piece ideas we come up with, and to have fun. I mean, I am all about having fun on the drums, and I think that's what makes us love drums. And people on Instagram and social media, especially, they love to see that you're having fun. Yes, you can. There's a whole bunch of exercise stuff, rudiments, the strict stuff, but drums can always also be fun. Music in general is supposed to be fun. And I try to show that, to portray that in whatever I'm posting. And I think that's what people enjoy the most. I post a lot of mistakes, and I think that's what makes it so relatable to everyone. I've just a session where I'm trying to get something down, and mistakes and hiccups in between. And people can relate it. And I think too many times a lot of people when they get it right. Only when they get it time and people think it's so complicated. So I try to break it down in steps. I try to put when I just start putting on it versus when I got it down to when I'm playing it however long after, and the different ways that I have changed it and manipulated it. So I think my posts are really relatable, and which is why people love it. And I tried my best to answer every comment, um, every message that someone sends. I actually sometimes take time out of my day to say, well, I'm going to respond to people. Just today, I'm going to dedicate to responding to messages, responding to comments, because a lot of times things get lost in the notifications. So I go back through old posts, see who has commented, check out a lot of other drummers' profile, check out other musicians. Consistency is key. And I also try to take the time out to respond to people. I think as much as posting stuff is really cool, I think people tend to share and appreciate your stuff more when they realize that you care about their views. When you take the time to help them out, they have questions.
That's really awesome, man. And it really shows too, because one thing that I noticed when I started following you right away, I left a comment on a video and you responded in like 5 minutes. So, you really do encompass that consistency very well, and I notice it in how you talk to me and how you talk to everybody else, because you've got one. I think your personality just bleeds from your videos. People can feel how you are, and you're just a very interesting person. All in all, from watching the playing, it's getting to know you and hearing you talk, and just by going through your Instagram, it's easy to tell that you are really trying to reach out to everybody as opposed to trying to bring everybody in all the time. It's very apparent, and I love it. I love it a lot.
Thank you, man.
Hey,
Well,
so I'm just saying.
I always believe in loving and sharing with people. I think the world will be a lot better if everyone took the time to try to understand at least the other person's perspective. So when someone comments, I try to understand their point of view, what might be their reason for saying what they say, even if it's something negative. If it's criticism, I try to take it in the best way, because it's all about helping. And I mean, not every time that someone says something negative, you should take it in a bad way. You should probably try to understand their perspective of direction, sometimes their background. So I believe in the more that you get into people and you take the time to get to know somebody, you understand them better. And I've made a lot of friends on social media, and to me, this is what social media is meant for, to bring people closer together. So I do what I can do best to try to make that happen. People build relationships, not just with myself and the person. I try to help others grow as well. So if I know that I mightn't be able to help you with this, I will put you on to someone who I know is better at it than me, so that you can learn from them.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. You're absolutely right. More people need that outlook.
Definitely agreed. So we're learning a lot here, Omari, and
Right.
I'm having a good time here. One thing that I have failed to touch on, and I know you're gonna love to talk about this, And I want you to end it a little bit with a plug on the contest. Chat a little bit about the contest you were recently doing. But let's talk about Serenity Drums. Let's talk about your kit, man. I got to know how that all happened and how you got that build. It's one of the most unique drum sets I've ever seen.
Yeah, the guys at Serenity, especially John Hammond, is the master behind Serenity Drums. He is crazy. I mean, the level of detail and dedication he puts into his drums is unbelievable. And initially, when I saw them Serenity Drums for the first time, I was blown away. I saw the drums, a drum that they posted that was cherry drum. Actually, it was just the shell of the drums, and I thought it was so beautiful that I had to just tell them that they were awesome. And I reached out to them, and I was shocked that they actually responded, and they saw what I was doing, and they were interested in me and students and learning. And just like you, I think they understood my passion for drums and music and sharing. So they wanted me to be a part of the family. And when I actually saw how they spoke with people, how they related to anyone who commented and stuff like that, it was always about family, always about building that relationship with drummers and stuff like that. So he actually makes drums after the drums portrays what the drummer that he's making it for puts out. So when he is doing a sculpted kit, he calls it a portrait of the drummer, and there's no replica of it. It's a one-time drum. He makes it by hand. He hand carves them. He takes it according to the tune. So what John usually does is that he studies your playing, your style, and he builds that drums to suit the sound that you play with and feel that you play. And it was amazing when he got into it, when they responded to me and decided that they wanted me to be a part of the family. I was absolutely overwhelmed. I didn't expect it, and they were actually the first company that endorsed me.
Good, cool stuff.
Yeah,
it is really cool. It's nice when you find a company like that that's, not only stands by their product that strongly, but really puts the time and detail into encompassing what it is the artists they create for sound like. So hats off to Serenity.
Yeah, and they actually, I don't know if
Shout out to Serenity.
but they actually came to Trinidad to hand deliver the drums. They actually hand deliver their portrait kits.
Wow.
Anywhere in the
Big
world.
shouts out. Big shouts out to Serenity Drums.
Yeah, shout out to Serenity Drums.
Big shout outs. That's what's up.
I mean, I admire all drum companies. I mean, the drums are amazing no matter the company. But I just had to personally give them a hats off because of the time and dedication they take, and the fact that they do what they do. They hand deliver their drums. That's something that a lot of people might think is outrageous, but they actually want to personally be there for you to see your face.
That's the good part about that's the good part about a company that like is interactive with its endorsers, because that's the treatment is everything. When they take the time and the detail and put it in their product and in the relationships, that's why it's a shout out. That's why it's big. Like any company that takes that much personal, takes that time for personal detail, that's always a shout out. Any company, that's what's up.
Yeah, and Drummers I has followed Serenity for quite some time, and we've seen a lot of John's stuff, and he definitely puts like a personal touch into everything he does, and you can tell with your kit, he definitely hit the nail on the head as well. So that's amazing. It's a great looking kit.
When they brought it, I first saw it, I sat on it, and I didn't even want to play it. Because I was like, this is an art piece. It's right. I'm afraid to touch it. You don't want to leave any marks on it. It's perfect. But
it is the drum set. It's made to be hit, right?
And I mean, it sounds amazing. It really does sound amazing.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to take this opportunity. Unfortunately, I have to quietly bow out of our conversation because I have to get to a rehearsal.
Oh
So,
man,
so Omari, it was wonderful for me to chat with you here, and a real honor. And Richard and Jamie, it's always an honor with you guys. But I got to run off and play some drums now.
all right. I hope you have a great session.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you
great
very
gig.
much, thanks again for coming on with us. And I'll be talking to everybody later.
All right.
Have a good gig, man.
Take
All right,
care.
thanks. We'll see you guys.
Take care.
Peace out.
So, I think we've learned a lot about you today, Omari. I think that you've done a great job of detailing your life and a lot of the wonderful things that have come through your experiences as growing as a drummer, building your social media channels, building your name, really growing your network. And once again, it just goes to show that if you're a cool hang, if you're a good person, then good things are going to come to you no matter what you do. So, serious hats off, Omari. I appreciate you coming on the show today and letting us know. But
Thank you. And
go ahead. I cut you off there. I'm sorry, Omari. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying it's a pleasure. Anytime.
Awesome. So that leaves us to our infamous rapid singles round. And if you are familiar, our rapid singles round is a set of questions that we ask each guest that comes on, kind of break down a few different scenarios and ask a couple questions that we believe at Drummers I Like create tons of value points for you, the listeners, and maybe a little bit of a roadmap for you to journey on as you're making decisions on how you want to grow yourself and grow your playing. So, are you ready for the infamous rapid singles round, Omari?
Yes, I am.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Let's get this bad boy started. 1 second. Okay. Question number 1. If you could say something was holding you back from becoming the successful drummer that you wanted to be, what would it be?
Now or before?
So, let me rephrase that. So, like, as in, was there just maybe there was something that you weren't understanding, something that was holding you back from kind of getting over that bar to reach the success that you've kind of reached right now in drumming, whether that be, breaking down how to play what you play, understanding timing different, there's tons of different things that we would consider maybe holding you back. But, from your own words, what do you think maybe was an obstacle that you had to really get through to really break out and to feel more comfortable as a drummer?
For me, it was getting over that confidence of knowing that or thinking that you are good enough to play something or to post stuff. I think it's something that a lot of drummers or musicians on the whole suffer with. We tend to try to wait until we think we're good enough to post content. And for me, it took a long time for me to think that I was good enough until I started posting and people had really positive feedback on it. I got really positive feedback. And that helped me to build the confidence to post more. And I was able to actually help myself grow due to that.
Wow, that's something I dealt with. Yeah, that's something I still deal with. That's wow. That's a deep question. Okay.
Great answer, Omari. Great answer.
Good answer. Great answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Question number 2. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received from another drummer?
The best piece of advice was given actually from my dad, and it goes across the board for anything that you do. He said, your humility will take you further than even your skills and talents could ever take you. And I have seen that from everything that I've experienced so far as a drummer, from endorsements to building relationships with people like you guys. I would say it's because of, saying that I'm humble is not really humility, but from what people have said, the fact that they are always willing to work with me. And I think that's something that stuck with me for my entire life. It's something that I always keep in mind, that your humility will take you a lot further than even your skills can take you.
That's deep. I love it. I love
great
an
stuff.
Answer like yeah, great advice.
That's
off
great
to
advice.
Father.
Yeah, shouts out to Pops. That's it. Great advice.
So, question number 3. What's a personal habit that contributes to your success as a drummer?
wanting to help people. Because I know I've been at the point where I didn't know much, and I wish there were more people who would reach out. I always want to be that person who anybody could come and approach and be like, "Hey, I need help with this," and I'll either be able to help you or put you onto someone to help. So I think that's my personal thing. I love helping people. I love the fact that someone who mightn't have been able to do something before can now accomplish something that they thought was impossible.
That's awesome. That is it's a great answer. It strikes deep too, because having a habit like getting up early, or being able to focus on practice is one thing, but really being driven by the want to help people and care, and it really circles back to that feeling of love that it really drives this whole thing at the end of the day. So great answer. Thank you. Okay, so question number 4. Share a resource or a tool, like an app or a drum tool, that helps you survive as a drummer.
Right now, Drumeo, honestly. I mean, guys like Jared Falk, I've been watching for a while, and sometimes even when I feel that, I don't know what to work on, I usually just go to Drumeo's website, and there's always something new that I find that I can work on. So that's usually my number one go-to for things to work on, for pushing further.
That's a great tool. I agree. We had Jared on a couple episodes ago, and he was everything that Drumeo is supposed to be, man. That's good. I recommend everybody go check out Drumeo if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I mean,
great resource.
Cool thing is that you can actually try it out for free for 30 days before you say, well, you want to get into it, and all the resources are available to you during that time. So even if you want to check it out to see if it's for you, I mean, you're free to do so. So I always recommend it.
Same here. We do too. Question number 5. If you could recommend just one drum book or drum video, what would it be and why?
This is a tough one. My videos or any video in particular?
Any video in particular. Anything educational, or, even if it's just a video of some people shredding, jamming, shedding, that just gets you driven to go play, or a piece of literature that gets you driven educational-wise. Whatever it may be, we want to know.
Honestly, for me, Carter Buford is one of my favorite drummers of all time. There is a song by Dave Matthews Band called Tripping Billies, and I watched him play that song, and that video, it's on YouTube, is one of my favorite videos to watch, honestly. His approach to playing, it really motivates me. And when I was in the band that I used to play in with Nigel Lopez, I actually sung backups, and it was because I saw Carter Buford singing as well that he really inspired me to even push further into that. So I think watching Carter play is something that I think a lot of people should experience.
Awesome. He's one of my favorite to watch too. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah. He's a good one.
So moving on to question number 6, our final question, and our infamous question, I would say. It goes a little bit like this. And if you need me to repeat anything or get into it more, just let me know. But imagine you woke up tomorrow in a world exactly like ours. You have all your same talents, you possess all the same knowledge, you have all the same history in your mind that you had, as of today. But no one knows you. You're in a world of nobody that you know. You have $500. You have a smartphone. You have food covered. You have a room covered. You have a car, and you have a little drum set that you can, get around to play gigs with. What would be your first move? And keep in mind, it's like you're starting fresh. No one's heard of you before, but you still have all the tricks up your sleeve, all the knowledge, everything you did up until that day. It's still all there.
I would get a van with enough space in the tray to fit the drum set, and I would just hire somebody to drive and I would just play, 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 and share the love for music. And I think from people seeing, they would know this random person driving around on the back of a van playing drums. I think the word would probably get out there sooner or later.
I think it would actually. That's a first. That's a first here on that
Right.
question for that response, and I never really thought about that. Why not just jump in a van, go drive around, and start playing? And you can film it all. You can create a social media following, and hell, who knows what you could kind of create based off of the PR you're getting from traveling to all these different places and meeting all these new people all the time. People filming you, you filming yourself. That's actually a great, simple approach to kind of getting back on the bandwagon.
Yep, because everyone who sees you passing by, they're going to pull out their phones, they're going to be recording, they're going to post it, and sooner or later, people are going to know who you are.
Right, right.
I've only seen that scenario twice, and one was in my hometown of Vero Beach. There's a gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he's an amazing drummer. He lived right down the road from me, but something I always noticed, I never saw it in action, but he had a drum set up in the back of his pickup truck like to play while driving. Never saw him do it, but someone thought about it. So I think it's a pretty smart idea. The kind of media you would connect. You'd get people thinking a lot more about music and drums.
There's a guy that does it out here. Actually, his last name is Sheriff. He was in the store finals for the drum off, and he actually did what you just said, Richard. With he has a U-Haul. He has the big long bed U-Haul,
Nice.
and what he did was he mounted these big old dual 15-inch speakers and an 18-inch sub. Somehow bungee corded all this stuff on the back of his truck, and you boosted the sound system or put an extra amp, installed some kind of an extra amp,
Wow.
and put his drum set in the back of this pickup truck and drives around and parks and gets out and jumps in the back of that bed of the pickup truck and goes at it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild because it's amazingly enough he does draw a crowd, and people, they take pictures of him and post it, and they do kind of stuff. He gets all kind of feedback, but he gets out there and does it. He gets out there and gets it.
I
It's
think
cool stuff.
We gotta find this guy.
I
Yeah,
think he
yeah.
should. He should definitely be on the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna track him down and get him. He's coming on.
Yeah, that's a whole other genre of drumming right there. Just
Yeah.
going for what.
I
And
think we've all
actually, it's
seen. Yeah.
thing I actually plan to do in the future is Trinidad and Tobago, because we are in the Caribbean, we have in the tropics. There's a lot of beautiful scenery here. So what I plan to do is actually just set up in random locations and just play songs, cover songs, play grooves, and just go out there and have fun. So you guys could definitely look out for that.
I can't wait
and
to see you playing in a waterfall, buddy.
yeah, why not?
Go set up in a cave. Let's hear what kind of sounds we can get out of that, man. That'd be amazing. I'm sure you have that there.
Yeah, we actually have a few caves. I'm not sure how easy it will be to get a drum kit there, but I'll try to see how we'll work it out.
I recently saw when we were at NAM, we saw that beatbox kit, the beatbox drums. They fit in like a small case. That might get you out there. I'll look into that one.
Yes, true. And I think Pearl recently came out with one as well, a really small, compact travel size kit.
That'd be really cool. We're definitely going to be looking forward to that. But with the end
Yeah.
of question 6, Omari, that brings us to the end of our show.
Oh, yes.
And
Wow.
this has been one heck of a ride, man. It's been a blast to get to know you. I feel 10 times closer. I know a lot more about you. I feel like I've gotten such a inside view at the world of you, and I'm sure Jamie and Kevin can agree. It's just been a great show, and I just can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Thank you guys for having me. It is truly an honor. You guys have no idea. Because I'm from little island of Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people don't really know much about us, much about the talent that we have here in this little island. But it's really an honor to be able to represent not just myself, but my country as well. So shout out to Trinidad and Tobago.
Awesome. And
Yes,
if
sir.
there's anybody else you want to give shouts out to, please, now is the time. And let our listeners know how they can find you, get in touch with you, maybe book a lesson. I don't know. Let us know.
Okay. Firstly, I would like to shout out Serenity Drums. Promac Drumsticks, Evans Drumheads, Diadario, Lowboy Beaters, Drummer Clothing Company, Drumtacs, all my endorsers. Huge shout out to my students, especially. They show a lot of support. They actually always look out for my next video that I post, and they usually recommend songs for me to play. I love each and every one of them. Huge shout out to you guys, of course, for having me. Shout out to the musicians and drummers, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. Some really great guys. Shout out to my dad, and most of all, shout out to my wife, Jamila. She has supported me from the beginning. She actually bought me my first drum kit. So huge shout out to her.
Dope. Dope.
Yeah, she is an amazing wife. I could not have asked for anyone better. Yeah, so huge shout out to her.
Awesome,
Yeah.
man. Great.
Yes, sir. Huge shouts out. Thanks.
And how
thanks.
and how can we find you?
If anyone is looking for me, they can find me using the same username on any social media network, which is OJ Augustine, OJAUGUSTINE. You can find me on Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Skype. If you search for me on any social media and that name and you don't find me, it's probably because I'm not on it. Yeah.
I think that makes good sense. Yes, we'll make sure we leave all the top links in the show notes below, and make sure that everybody can find you if it needs to find you. And forgive me here, but has your snare contest come to an end?
Oh yes. The winner of the snare contest was David Scarlett, and actually he is from Trinidad and Tobago. I'm actually going to deliver it personally to him on Saturday.
Oh, that's so awesome. We'll be on the lookout for that.
Yes. And look out for more giveaways in the future. I always like giving to people. I've actually used to give away a lot of drumsticks. I've probably given away close to 200 pairs of drumsticks already.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Like, who is interested in drums, I take a pair. It had gotten so bad at a point in time that my wife bought sticks separately for me to give away. So I just love giving to people, especially people who may not be fortunate enough to have a role model or someone to help them, someone to just give them that push. So that's my way of trying to do that for someone. And in turn, hopefully that they will do that for someone else as well.
That's awesome, man.
Good stuff.
Great to hear that you are such a humanitarian at the same time as an amazing drummer. That's so. I think that brings our show to an end. Omari, I got to thank you again for spending some time doing the show with us today. And of course,
yeah, thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
To the future. We look forward to seeing what you're doing, and we will keep our eyes peeled.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
No problem, Omari.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
I hope to meet you guys in person someday.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Definitely.
As soon as you get out to LA, or if we get out to you, man, we're gonna make the connection happen. It's a mandate. So.
Right. Awesome.
We're gonna have to take Drummers I Like down to Brazil. Looks like, huh, Rich?
Yeah, I'm about it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
awesome.
Dope. We can do a episode about all the Brazilian drummers, and Omari can give us the grand tour. He can show us the ropes down there. How do you do it down there in the islands? That's what's up.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll have a session on the beach. Definitely.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy.
I can't even imagine how that would look, but it's gonna have to happen now. It's going down in the must-dos.
Yes.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I can't thank you enough once again, Omari and Jamie. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me. For you guys taking both your times out to make sure that we had this show done today and that we got to really create some awesome content for our listeners and some new value points. So once again, thank you, and have a great night, Omari, and have a great night, Jamie.
You two guys.
All right, bro. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Well, what an episode that was. Personally had a blast on with Omari. Learning his life story, getting to hear about how he found music, getting into his work ethic, which is extremely passionate, and this dude grinds. He's always playing drums, he's always recording, he's always pushing the boundaries. So if you didn't take notes, I advise that you go back like I always do and take some notes. And if you don't like to take notes, that's cool. Just keep listening until it's just embedded into your head. Some of these ideas, this work ethic, it's what you need if you're trying to figure out, well, what do I do next? Like, I can't seem to get to the next step. I can't get these practice methods down. I'm telling you, it just takes patience and a really good strategy. And I think Omari is a good example of what it takes to develop those things. So a big thanks to him. Big thanks to Jamie. Big thanks to Kevin. Big thanks to the team. And an extra big thanks to Audible.com for taking the leap and sponsoring the Drummers I Like podcast. We're definitely a niche area of radio shows, and there's not a lot of drummers podcasts out there. I don't think that it was a bad idea for him to take that leap. I think it's seriously one of the coolest things ever. It's an honor. It's going to be able to keep us moving forward, keep us able to do the show. It's not free. It's not easy. It takes a lot of our time and efforts to make these things happen. So the more help, the merrier. And if you want to help, it is really easy. Please, you can support us by heading over to audibletrial.com/drummers I like podcast, or I made it really easy. You just go to dilpodcast.com/read a book in all capital letters. Read a book. That'll bring you right over to our official link to an Audible trial. You sign up for that. It makes us look good. It makes us look really good, and makes Audible love what they're doing, and helps them too. I really believe in audiobooks. I believe in reading, and it's part of the reason I have this segment in Rapid Singles where I ask our guests to bring these ideas and books that have helped them. Because I'll be really honest. I didn't read books growing up. I was a punk kid who just could not sit down and read a book. I would have told you I would burn the book. Really, is the first thing I would have said. As I've grown, as I've gone through the process of building my own business, I've learned that knowledge and education is super key after college, after high school. It never stops. So if you're not reading and you don't like it, try an audiobook, because that's what kind of broke the mold for me. I love podcasts. I listen to tons of them all the time. And if you're listening to this podcast on the regular, then you're already on the pathway to listen to some audiobooks. And, why not spend an hour a day, learn a little bit about money, learn a little bit about how the banks work, maybe something about politics. Maybe you want to learn a little bit about how to plan. You want to learn how to grow. You want to know how to build cars. There are tons of different books. I recommend Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans, and my personal favorite, I tell everyone to read this book, it's Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the best books of all time. And of course, they've got tons of drum books. They've got Travis Barker's biography on there. They've got great, great books. So I cannot stress it enough. Even if you don't want to use the Audible link and you have tons of books, your parents have them, go read books. I'm telling you, it's like one of the greatest things ever. It's a good way to segue into, pursuing secondary or thirdary education. So it's audibletrial.com/drummers I like podcast, or dilpodcast.com/read a book. Read a book is going to be in all capital letters. Our bit.ly links, it's really odd. They make us do cap letters for certain things, or I don't know, we pay for the service. They don't even let us use it. It's really odd in my opinion. But that's how you get to it. And if you're having a problem, just shoot me an email, richard@drummersilike.com. I'll direct you. I'll help set everything up. It's super easy. And before I cut this bad boy, I remind you that we are on social media like crazy. And if you're listening to the show, there's a good chance that you already know that. But if you don't, it's really easy to find us on Instagram at @drummersilike. That's our crop. That's our baby. That's where I hang out the most. I'm on Instagram all day. So you will find me. You message us. I'm ready to chat. I'd love to hear, about your playing. I'd love to see, what you're doing, see your videos, pictures, setups. Send them our way. We repost it. Reposting is what we do. So yeah, that's @drummersilike on Instagram. Same with Twitter. It's @drummersilike. And Facebook.com/drummersilike. YouTube.com/user. Don't forget the user /drummers I like. And you can find us on all podcast apps. And I'm begging you guys, please leave us reviews. Let us know what you think of the show. How can we better it? Maybe there's questions you want to hear us ask users on the regular that are guests on the regular that we aren't asking. We want to know, because we want to cater to you. You're the reason we do it, and you're the reason that we're going to be able to keep doing it. So let us know. Leave a review. Send a message. Leave a comment, please. We don't get any comments on our blog posts or our posts for the podcast, and we would love to have a chit chat. We're doing a lot with that right now. We just did an update on the website. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that bad boy, which has been a work in progress for 4 years now, and I'm probably the happiest of everyone to design. So if you haven't seen it yet, drummersIlike.net, baby. It's redesigned. It's looking sexy. You want to go there. You want to see what's going on. I got it all broken down and indexed. And we have so many shows now that there's just a lot to choose from. There's a lot to listen to. You can go back, listen to Matt's show, Sam Applebaum's show. You can hear Freddie Charles tell his story. You can go back and listen to Benzel from Parliament Funk. This guy is amazing. He's one of the most amazing drummers ever. So before I keep plugging, oh my God, Anthony Martone, just moved out to LA, amazing drummer. You can listen to Steve Carey from The Color Morale, Jared Easterling from Fit for a King. I know you guys saw that Office cover he just did on Instagram, like a G. There's just so much, and I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. I'm just proud. I'm proud of what we've done, and I think that there's a lot to learn from every episode. All our guests have given us so much, so kudos to them. Kudos to everybody who's just been a part of this whole journey and that's made it happen. And kudos to you for taking the time to go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you're following us on Instagram, do your boy Rich here a little favor and show that Facebook some love. No one's on Facebook. Maybe it's just me. Maybe Facebook just sucks now. But I would love to see more of our fans on there chatting and sending us some love. So thanks again to everybody for listening in. Thanks to Jamie, Kevin. Thank you, Omari. Thank you, Josh. My boy Josh, one of our interns, one of the strongest we have. One of the fucking men. Jeez, thank you, Dylan. Same to you. Writing articles like a machine, churning them out like cows churning out milk. And of course, Kevin, you're the man. Thank you so much, Jamie. Awesome. And a big triple dipple derple shout out to audible.com for just showing the love and giving us a sponsorship. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. I didn't think we'd ever get this far, but we're here. And thank you guys. So, from everybody here at drummersilike.com, good night.